again, and I'm back with another chit chat. Get ready with me. It's been so long. I feel like I haven't filmed a chit chat get ready with me in a long time. The last chit chat get ready with me that I filmed was a month ago, and I dropped that on May 27th, so not even a month ago. 2 months ago was my last chit chat get ready with me, and I feel like it's been so long since I actually just like stood and talked. So I'm really excited to do this one today. Today we are getting ready for a house party, but it's on campus. It's held by our Black Student Union. I just wanted an excuse to get cute and do a chit chat get ready with me video, of course. So we're gonna get right into it. Most of it is gonna be me doing my hair. I already have my outfit on. I already put on lotion and whatnot. I need to do my face stuff first, actually. I was looking at my discography and I realized that it had been a long time since that last chit chat get ready with me video, and I realized that I do a chit chat get ready with me anyways every 2 to 3 videos, and then I usually drop, like, because I drop once a week or I try to. Because I try to drop once a week, I usually end up doing 4 videos a month. I was thinking that since I do 4 videos a month and all of my chit chat get ready with me's are every 2 to 3 videos anyways, that I would do 3 vlogs every month and 1 chit chat video. And I feel like that would really give like a pretty good visualization of what I want to showcase in my life every month. And then I'll get to talk about like the things that I'm doing, the things that I have going on, the things that I'm excited for, the things that I'm working on, and all of that good stuff. So I'm really excited to start having my schedule like that. I really don't take YouTube that seriously. YouTube is more so like my hobby, but I still want to be like consistent at it and like actually have structure to my hobby. So like I make time for it and I actually enjoy doing it, and while I'm enjoying doing it, I'm making sure that it's the best that I could possibly make it. So that includes making an actual schedule that I can follow or try to follow whenever I can because I know that I'm not the most consistent YouTuber, but you have to take into account that I do not be taking this seriously. This is like an extension of my Instagram more so than an actual YouTube channel that's like not linked to anything else that I have going on. Like, my entire digital footprint is basically all the same thing, honestly. And everything revolves around the next thing. So that's what we're going to be doing from here on out. The party is at 7:30. It's currently like 6:30 right now, but I wasn't planning on going until 8 anyways. But the way I haven't got started with my hair, and I'm actually doing a hairstyle, probably going to be real fashionably late at 8:30. But we will see. We will see, honestly. So I already showered. Like I said, I might do like a little bit of makeup. I already have my outfit on. Tonight, I already said I'm gonna be doing my bantu knots with 2 twists coming forward with some beads coming down, you know, really give black girl eccentricism, if that makes sense. I don't even know what eccentricism means, but I feel like that's perfect in that sentence that I just used. While I'm doing this and getting ready, I am going to be talking about my year so far, like the first 6 months. I'm also very tender-headed now that I've combed my locks out because I went 6 months without combing my hair. Ooh! I went 6 months without combing my hair because I had locks. That really took a toll on my scalp because it's not used to being manipulated like this anymore. So we gotta get her back into the flow of things. Why is this like that? So while I'm getting ready, I'm going to be talking about my first 6 months of 2022, starting with January. Now, juicy start to this story. New Year's Eve, I got really hammered and I did something that I was really embarrassed of. I had never drunk called anybody. Well, I have drunk called people before, but I never like did it with like a romantic partner. And I got really drunk on New Year's Eve and I sent the person that I was previously romantic with a 4-minute long voice message about how I missed them and how I thought that because they moved away that we were going our separate ways, and I was okay with that, but I wanted them to know that I love them very much. And it's very nice, and it's a nice gesture in hindsight, but I'm really not somebody that takes pride in throwing my emotions at people, especially unsolicited. I didn't think that that was funny the next day. I was actually really embarrassed, so I apologize, and that went how that went. And yeah, I had to take my robe off because it was getting a little hot. I wanted the dress to be a surprise, but I mean, you'll see the top and you'll see the bottom later. If you want to see it, I'll leave the link down below in the description. I'm sorry, y'all. I am so hot right now. Like, it's ridiculous. And the AC's on, but I just got out of the shower, and I take really hot showers. So the steam and stuff is making it really hot in my bathroom, and I have my door closed, and air is just not circulating for real. Like I said, I apologize for what I did because I was really embarrassed about it. Me and that person did not talk that much after that. And it wasn't because of what I did, it was because of other things that they had going on. But that was something that really took a toll on me. And for the first part of the year, I want to say January, February, March, and April, I was really hurt that we didn't get to talk anymore like that. And I was very upset about not being able to keep in touch with them once they moved away, because that was somebody that I really cared about. But besides that, I went and I started to get therapy because I thought that I was emotionally deranged. I'm doing a lot of talking right now and my hair is not getting done. Hold on, I need a break. All right, change of angles because I had to sit down because I'm literally like faint. It's so hot. Like I said, I was getting therapy at the beginning of the year because I thought that I could do a better job at expressing my emotions. And so I did, and it was a really good experience. I didn't really have any complaints. A lot of people complain about FSU, or a lot of my other Black friends rather, complain about FSU's counseling, but I didn't really have that bad of an experience. My experience was actually really good. I really like my therapist. I don't know if I'm allowed to, like, I try not to tell people who my therapist was because I'm not sure that I'm allowed to like disclose that. I mean, I probably could disclose that at like my own discretion, but I don't know. I feel like I don't need to. But she was really good, and she really did a very, very great job at helping me, one, figure out what I was feeling, and two, figure out how to react to the things that I feel and how to properly talk about them, and also how to properly express them to other people without it being so overbearing or very overwhelming for me. And I want to be able to communicate it as effectively as I would have liked because I was too caught up in my emotions, and she really taught me how to recognize what I was feeling and to know that what I was feeling was valid and it wasn't crazy. But even though it feels like that, I don't have to express it in that way, if that makes sense. So for instance, let's say that I was feeling me and someone else wasn't on the same page, and that was something that was really affecting me because I really liked them and I wanted things to go a certain way for our relationship, but I couldn't really relay that information to them because I was feeling like it was the end of my world. And I realized from therapy that I really don't have to take every single emotion that I feel and one, like, not act on it, but also like I don't have to, like, it's not the end of the world. Like, as humans, we experience emotions, and some things affect some people more than others. So like a situation like that would affect me more than it would affect someone else, and that especially goes for like the other person in the situation, to where like they might not think that it's actually that serious. We just don't agree on where we think things should go. Instead of me being like, oh my God, like, I feel like you don't like me, and because you don't like me, or because I feel like you don't like me, I feel like you hate me, and like we're never gonna be together and it's never gonna work out because you don't want to be together, basically. That's not how you should communicate that you're feeling like you and someone else isn't on the same page, and like you guys might not be going down the ideal path in your perspective. You know what I mean? Basically, what I learned from therapy is that if I was ever feeling like that, or any other emotion that I was feeling, that I could literally just say, hey, I've been feeling X, Y, and Z, and because I've been feeling X, Y, and Z, I've been having ABC thoughts. And these ABC thoughts are things that I really wanted to talk about because I don't feel like we feel the same about those things. So I would really like to hear what you've been thinking and see if we can come to like a common ground to meet on the things that I feel like we do not agree on. You know what I'm saying? I really boosted up my communication skills in therapy, and it was really nice. And I learned how to observe my emotions rather than becoming my emotions. Like, yes, some days I can be sad, like I can feel sad. But I realized that I used to overly identify with my emotions, and whenever I was sad, I just thought that I was a sad person, you know what I mean? But in all actuality, I'm a person experiencing sadness. I'm a person experiencing emotions, and I don't have to let my experience with emotions dictate who I am. Well, I don't have to let my experiences with my emotions dictate who I am as a person. And most of the time, I'm happy. I'm a very happy person. I love to love, I love to laugh, I love to experience joy, and I love to make other people happy, and I love to do things that I like to do that make me happy. I'm a very happy person, like, but sometimes, you know, things happen in life and we experience other emotions. You know, emotions are a spectrum in the human world, and you're not always gonna feel one emotion, or sometimes you won't even feel one emotion at a time. It'll be multiple emotions. You know, you just really have to learn how to deal with that as you mature, and that is what I learned how to do in therapy. And I was in therapy from mid-January until like basically the end of spring semester, which was in April. And like I said, that was a really good experience for me. In February, I took my first solo trip to Houston, and I really needed that trip. One, because I did not like my living situation. I still don't like it, but it has gotten bearable. I learned how to deal with that through therapy as well. It's just something that I had to figure out a way to be, not necessarily be comfortable with, but to cope with until it was over. And it's about to be over soon, but we'll get to that when we get to the later months of me reviewing the year. So I took the solo trip to Houston, and at first I just did it like on a whim, but at the time, like as the closer the trip got, the more that I really needed to get away, and I really used that trip as an opportunity to do so. And it was really nice. I personally would not live in Houston because it's too damn big, but it was so nice to have somewhere to go by myself, and I fully funded that trip all by myself, and I finally just had time to stop, and I didn't have my current situations that were having an effect on me, surrounding me. I was in a totally different space. I really had time to reflect on what was going on in my life, figure out what I could do about it after I figured out how I felt, and moved on from there. And I also had the opportunity to just stop and relax, because I had also started a job and I hated that job. I was working fast food and it was absolutely horrible, and I did not like it, but I needed that job to fund the lifestyle that I wanted to live for 2022. And I really have been living it, honestly, but we'll talk about that more later on. But I was not in a place where I was happy, and I just needed to make a plan for the rest of the year to figure out how I was going to be happy. In order to be happy the way that I wanted to, I needed more money, and that was the only job that I could really have at that time. In hindsight, I'm very appreciative of the opportunity to have had a job and to have made the money that I made, but that job was not good for my mental health in the long run. That was why I ended up quitting. But you know, I'm saying that to say that I really did not like that job at the time, but I had to have it, and I needed to change my mindset in order to cope with having a job that I didn't like, that I needed to make the money that I needed to have to be happy, basically, if that makes sense. That was what I did in Houston. It was really fun. I had a really good time, and I definitely recommend Houston as like a solo trip place for anyone, especially if you actually know how to drive. It was kind of a hassle for me getting around because I had to take lifts, and it was very expensive because, like I said, Houston is very big. But I feel like if you actually know how to drive and you can get a rental when you get there, I definitely recommend going, because it's nice. It's really nice. And I went to the Waterwall Park. I went to a lot of different like restaurants. It was nice. I really enjoyed myself. I went to the Botanical Garden. You can see that in the video tagged above. Might be here, might be there, don't know. That was what I did in Houston. Once I came back, you know, I was faced with the reality of life, which was the situations that I went to Houston to really change my mindset about, so that I would be able to better cope with them. And I was coping with them the best that I could, but it was still, you know, hard for me to do. But, you know, life started to look up after a while. I ended up quitting my job after I had made the money that I needed to make. to do the things that I wanted to do. Then I really started to get better mentally. I would say middle of March, around my friend Raven's birthday, I started to go out more. I took better care of my locks when I had them, and I was just really taking better care of myself. I was communicating with my roommates at the time, the things that I did and didn't like about the things that they would do around the apartment that wouldn't make me feel comfortable living here, or eating in the kitchen, or just being in the house in general. And that started to look a little bit better. It wasn't what I wanted it to be, and it wasn't the ideal solution to all of the problems, but it was good enough to the point where I could, I don't want to say cope, but it was good enough for me to, you know, handle at that time. Or just, I feel like I'm looking for a different word, but it was I, you know what I'm saying? It was definitely I don't know what the professional word for I would be, but it was good enough. Things really did keep going good. Life was looking up. I really had started to fall in love with my locks at that time, and I was again taking better care of them. I was going out more with my friends. I was handling the things that I was feeling in response to basically losing like a really good friend of mine. They didn't die, they just moved away and we stopped talking. But that really did take a toll on me, like I said earlier in my other videos. That was something that I really had to take my time with dealing with, and it was very hard for me to cope with afterwards. I started to hang out with the friends that were still around and still here for me during that time, and I really started to get back into the flow of things, which is where my last chit-chat get ready with me video came from. And I started to branch out, meet new people, do new things. I went kayaking for the first time at the springs here. You can see that in the Wakisia Springs vlog. Started going out in nature. I was journaling more. I was getting into tarot, lots of spiritual stuff, and it was just a lot. I was taking better care of myself, honestly, and I was making plans to do the things that I actually really wanted to do. I was accomplishing all the goals that I had set for myself at that time, and it was really looking good for me. And I was very excited about everything that I had in store, and I had restored my faith in my ability to have a good life and to be happy and to be good. Like, even though my living situation wasn't ideal and I wasn't living with people who were the cleanest, and we were having bug problems, and I was also one like short a friend basically for a while, and I was dealing with that. I was finding other ways to be happy in other things, and that was something that I am in hindsight very grateful for. That was about it for like March and April. Nothing fancy happened. I was just branching out and meeting new people and doing new things basically. May came, and me and my bestie, we started to plan a trip to Puerto Rico. Now, personally, this trip had been on my mind since like December of last year. I was doing Vlogmas last year in December, and around the time that I filmed A Day With Me in Daytona Beach is when I met up with my friend Tamia, and me and my friend Tatiana and Tamia had made plans to go to Puerto Rico. And at that time, the plans weren't really in effect. It was just an idea, but we really wanted to go. Tamia ended up not being able to go because she had gotten a new apartment. It was more expensive than she thought it would be. Me and Tatiana still ended up going, and I made plans for that, and we actually really enjoyed Puerto Rico. Like, Puerto Rico was amazing. We really got a well-rounded experience. It wasn't just black girl luxury content or, you know, touristy vibes. Like, we really were in the community. We were staying at an Airbnb in like an actual neighborhood where real people who actually lived there was, and we met people who, like I said, actually lived there, and we got to hear their opinions on like tourism there. They really loved tourism, but there was just a lot going on politically and economically. People were coming from outside of Puerto Rico, buying property in Puerto Rico and profiting off of tourism that would have otherwise benefited people who actually live in Puerto Rico. And that was really messing up the economy and taking away from places to stay for people who actually live there. And that was why I ended up not vlogging in Puerto Rico, because I feel like it would have been too easy to romanticize what life was like there, because Puerto Rico was very, very beautiful, but I wouldn't have been able to actually really capture my experience, honestly. Like, I also did not want to do a just disservice to Native Puerto Ricans, even though like I said, like they really do enjoy tourism and they appreciate tourism, but a lot of new wave tourism to their island has not been in consideration of them, and it has not been to their benefit. I didn't want to drop a vlog romanticizing life in Puerto Rico without the mentioning of what was actually going on there and how people could be more mindful of their tourism when it comes to Puerto Rico. And I didn't really go to Puerto Rico with that in mind. I learned that as I was there, and that was when I decided not to vlog, because I didn't feel like that I could properly show that in a vlog. So that's why I ended up not vlogging in Puerto Rico. So sorry. I did really enjoy myself. Me and Tatiana really enjoyed ourselves. That's probably like going to be one of the best trips of my life. We went and we hiked the El Yunque rainforest, and we hiked 20,000 feet in the air, and we saw this huge ass waterfall. It was literally amazing. The food there was great. The drinks there were great. And we just had an all-around good time, and I was very appreciative of that experience, even though I didn't feel like I needed it at that time, because by the time that we actually went, I was already happy and I wasn't looking for anything else to be happy. I was just really grateful that I got the experience to go somewhere else, even though I didn't feel like I really needed it. Honestly, I don't want to be in a place in my life where I talked about this in one of my other vlogs, but I don't want to be in a place in my life where I feel like I'm just always waiting for the next trip, or I'm always just yearning for my next getaway. And that was one of the times where I genuinely didn't feel like I needed that trip, but I was just, you know, grateful to have the experience. And I feel like that really did play a role in how much I was able to actually experience the culture and the life there once we got there. That was towards the end of May, the beginning of June. And then when we came back, I started my job. I was very, 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 very not only excited to start, but I was nervous. This was my first time working with kids under the age of 18. And I was not actually, I wasn't too sure of myself. I always think of myself as corny when it comes to the way that I talk to kids, because whenever I interact with my younger siblings, I don't know, they just make me feel so corny. Like, I feel like a cornball when it comes to my interaction with kids, but I really, really love kids, and I'm very passionate about educating the youth, especially Black youth. And I was so excited when I got accepted for this job. I was in between choosing this job and another job. The other job would have been younger kids, which is actually the age range that I wanted to teach. The age range that I ended up working with this summer was 9th through 12th graders, but I really want to be a kindergarten teacher because I love the babies. The preschool that I wanted to work at, I got hired and they were sending me my paperwork, and I never got the rest of the paperwork. And by the time that the other job that I actually ended up working had reached out to me, they still hadn't sent the paperwork, so I ended up working the job that I worked this summer. But I'm very grateful for the opportunity to have worked with Upper Bound this summer. I don't know, it was an experience that I really enjoyed, and I still enjoy it. I only have one more week left of the job, but it was great, and the kids actually really liked me, despite me being like so nervous and unsure of how I would perform with being their mentor and being their counselor and living with them and having to actually interact with them more than a teacher would, because I actually live with them. But it was great, and I feel like it was a great introduction to dealing with children and learning how to listen to them, learning what they like, learning how to get them engaged. That was like the best part, like, because with older kids, that was my biggest fear, was like they would come and they would be so nonchalant and they would think everything was so uncool and they wouldn't want to actually do stuff. But they, like, once we figured out the code to like getting them involved, which was most of it was just incentivizing everything, like if you do this you get like a prize or something, but learning how to get kids involved and learn things that they typically wouldn't in any other environment was an amazing experience for me, and I'm so glad that I got to have that experience. I'll talk more about that job in probably another video. I don't know when I'm going to start incorporating like just videos where I talk about one topic, but we shall see. Pros and cons to the job that I was working. I'll start with the cons. One con was that it took up a lot of time throughout the week. Like I said, we live with the kids, and our work week was Sunday through Friday, and Monday through Friday our work hours would be 7 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. and sometimes it would be even later if they had like a trip, or we had to have a house meeting, or they decided to cook something last minute and I had to wait for them to get done in the kitchen to take them into their rooms. So that was a con in that aspect, because I was not getting the time that I would have liked to have to myself. I did have one day off every week, and I had breaks every week. So my break would be Mondays 9 to 10, and the day off that I had was Wednesdays. But I don't know, it just still didn't feel like enough solitude for me. So that was one big con. Another con was the living situation when we first got there. Our house, I had moved into the house before, and I realized all of the things that were wrong to the house before the kids got there and before any of the other counselors had gotten there. And the day of the kids' arrival, we had to move houses 2 or 3 times, and it was just a lot. It was absolutely very tiring and very emotionally tolling and very physically tolling, but we ended up getting through it. Shout out me and my co-counselor Eliza. The houses that we live in they're old, but they're not like old, but they're pretty outdated as far as like style. The furniture, but not really the furniture, I would just say like the pipes and the showers and stuff like that. I feel like the houses could be better if they renovated them a little bit more, but you know, it was what it was. It definitely felt like we were at a camp, even though the houses are literally right across from FSU and they're actually associated with FSU and FAMU and TCC. Another thing was the food. I actually was very excited when they told us that we get to eat for free at the cafeteria, basically like having a meal plan in college over the summer. But we ate way too much. We eat way too much, and it's very easy to overeat if you're not watching what you're doing. And it's kind of hard for me because I'm vegetarian, and a lot of the stuff that we ended up eating did not have like vegetarian options, so sometimes I just decided not to eat. And then also there would be times where there were limited options for me to eat, and I didn't want to eat the same thing every day, so I just decided not to eat. And then like I said, also we ate 8 to 9:15, 1:20 to 2:45, and 5:15 to like 6:30. And that eating like that alone was a lot for me because I'm not used to eating 3 meals a day. I just would always end the day feeling very, very sick and very, very stuffed, to the point where I wasn't sleeping good and I wasn't feeling the best the next day, and it would affect my mood and it would affect how I was just feeling physically, emotionally. I started to get really snappy and irritated and irritable and agitated, so I had to start looking at other options as far as like what I wanted to eat, and I started to like eat out more. In my other vlog you saw that I cooked, or I started to just get things from Target to cook for myself in the house. That was really that on that. I'm gonna take a break from talking right now so that I can get some progress on my hair, because I feel like I'm spending a really long time, even though I've gotten comfortable talking around the camera right now. I feel like I spent a long time talking and not a lot of time actually doing my hair, and I forgot that I'm actually getting ready for a party that is actually going to start at a certain time, and I can't sit here forever. So I'm going to do a time lapse of me doing my hair, and once I'm on like the last 2 Bantu knots, I'll come back and talk about the rest of it. Is back on. Another con is that this is the first year where the administration has changed basically completely, and there's only one person who has run the organization before in administration, and she's training the people that are under her, and she's in a new position in the organization this year which is, I think she's the director. And that made it a little hard because we were playing a lot of stuff by ear as far as figuring out what we were going to do each week. But, you know, it all worked out in the end. I haven't experienced any major, like, dire instances to where that really affected it. It hasn't been too bad. It's just, you know, there's just a lot of last minute stuff that gets done, but it's only because we have a lot of new people, and a lot of people, this is like their first time in the positions that they're in as far as administration goes. So I just, you know, really learned how to give people grace. But that was one of the things that also made my job a little hard. But other than that, the pros are that the kids are amazing. When they were prepping us in training, I was expecting these kids to be bad as hell, but I love them. Like, like, I know I'll probably never see like half of them again, but the kids were amazing. Like, I can't stress that enough. They really gave me a revived hope in life, a revived hope in the youth, and a revived hope in the future. Not only of just generations of people, but also like the future for me as a teacher, because they really did not make it hard to be a mentor to them, and they did not make it hard to be a counselor to them, and they made it worthwhile. Like, any interaction that I've had with the kids that I work with has been good. It's been really good, and I really enjoy my job, and I would definitely do it again. So yeah, that's that on that. And I would say that that's about up to where I am now. I just got over COVID. Last week was the 4th of July, and I ended up getting COVID after that, so I couldn't work all of last week and this week. Also, before I even keep talking, this is what I'm using for my hair. I'm using the Shea Moisture's Jamaican Black Castor Oil Leave-In Conditioner, Eco Styler Gel, and then there's black castor oil, tea tree oil, and peppermint oil in this bottle. So that's all I'm using for my hair. I didn't want to be stingy. I'll list all the products that I'm using in the description below if you wanted to know. But yeah, anyways, so last week was the 4th of July, and I ended up getting COVID afterwards. So I was out all of this week from my job and all of last week, because the 4th of July, or the week of the 4th of July, was our off week, and the kids went home and they had a week off. So it was really bad. I could barely breathe. This was like my second or third time getting COVID. I am vaccinated. I just am very unfortunate when it comes to like getting sick. I went out with my friends the 4th of July weekend, and nobody else got sick. I was the only person that got sick. So that was pretty unfortunate for me, but I tend to have luck like that all the time, where me and my friends will go out and I'll be the only person that gets sick. I'm glad about it in hindsight, even though it really sucked. I could barely breathe. I didn't lose my sense of taste this time, and I also was able to move around after a few days, but the first few days was pretty bad. I had a sore throat, fever, chills, you know, all that good stuff. But it really did give me an opportunity to realize that I was not getting enough solitude and enough time to take care of myself. And I really used the time that I had off after I started to feel better to really hone in and take care of myself. And I really appreciate that for myself. Thank you, so. You're welcome, girl. So that leads me up to this week. I am not doing much, honestly. I'm going back to work next week, starting Sunday, because I'm no longer COVID positive, and this is my kids' last week, and I wouldn't miss it for the world. Like, I love these kids like I birthed them, honestly. Like, they're the best. I can't express that enough. And I could be over exaggerating because I really love kids, and I also have been having baby fever since the age of 16. So, but I don't know. I really thoroughly enjoy being in the presence of these kids, and it has really solidified my decision to actually teach. Not that I could, you know, change my mind or anything. I did get into my master's program. I meant to mention that. I think around April or May is when I got my decision letter for my master's program, and I actually ended up getting in. So by the time that I finish FSU in 3 years, I will have my master's degree in elementary education. I'm hoping to have my minor in childhood development, but the class that I'm taking right now is absolutely ridiculous. I'm gonna try to finish strong as I possibly can, but it's so stupid, and I haven't really been putting in the effort that I would have liked to put in. just because I don't like the class that much, but we'll see at the end of the summer. But it's my last class for my minor, and then I will have my minor in childhood development. That really shows you guys how much I really do thoroughly enjoy kids, and I'm really excited to become a teacher. Next, we're gonna move on to things that I have coming up, what I'm excited for, what I'm working on, and the first thing is moving out. This will probably be, that's so sad. This will probably be the last time that you guys see this background because I am moving. My bathroom is going to be the place that I miss the most. In my next apartment, the entire apartment is really, really nice, but the bathroom does not have like the large mirror that I have in this house, and I just have grown so accustomed and comfortable with the bathroom that I have now that I can't imagine being anywhere else. And I'm actually like about to start tearing up because I can't imagine being anywhere else except this bathroom right now. Like, this bathroom, one, it was my first bathroom to myself, and it was also the bathroom of my very first apartment, even though it wasn't, you know, the most ideal as far as roommates would go, and as far as cleanliness would go, and maybe even as far as location would go. But regardless of all of that, I really, really am so grateful for the opportunity to have been able to live here and take the time to myself that I needed to figure out what I really wanted to do with my life during this phase that I lived here. I lived in this apartment specifically for 2 years. I moved in my spring semester of my freshman year because my roommate was trying to kill it. But I tend not to have good luck with roommates, but so far. But the next apartment that I'm moving into, it's all me and my friends, and I know them personally. So I'm not really expecting anything else to go wrong, knock on wood. I'm really excited to move into that place. We move in 3 weeks. I haven't started packing anything, honestly, but I really don't have that much stuff. We're still looking for a storage unit to store our stuff because we have to move out of this apartment the 30th, and we don't move into our next apartment until like August 13th. So that's something really exciting that I'm looking forward to. I'm also looking forward to fall semester, football season. I love football season, even though our football team kind of sucks. And maybe, you know, people don't like for me to say this, but I don't think it's our team. I don't think it's our team. I think it's the coach. I think it's the coach. You know that sound on TikTok where it's like, I think it's black folk. I think a black person did this. Now, it could be white folk. It could be white folk, but I don't think it was white folk. I think it was black. I think it's our coach. Every game that I went to last year, it really just felt like we could really do the things that we were trying to do, but because of the plays and stuff that were being called, and don't let me fool y'all, I don't know shit about football. I don't know nothing about nothing. I know what it means 1st through 4th down and what it means to get a touchdown and stuff like that. And you know, I know how to watch the game, and I know how to understand what's going on when it comes to football. But as far as like, you know what I mean? I only know what I feel like I'm seeing. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I don't know the coach personally, but I feel like that nigga suck. Just saying. Hopefully, because I feel like we have the same coach this season, or we will have the same coach this season. He's a little bit better this year. So I'm going to be putting beads on the ends of these. Y'all see the look that I'm trying to go for. I'm actually really excited because it turned out a lot better than I thought it would. I'm also excited for fall semester in general, like starting my classes for my major. All of my classes are going to be in one building, thank the Lord. The only thing I'm not looking forward to is the fact that my classes are every day, 1, and then 2, they're also from 9 a.m. to like 3 p.m. And then I'm going to have to do a work study job this semester. And I don't really feel like I'm going to have that much time to hang out with my friends, which is sad. Like, but you know, I feel like I'll figure it out. Also, my birthday is in the fall. Very excited for that. I won't be doing anything too extravagant, I wouldn't say. And when I say extravagant, I mean like maybe not doing the photo shoot this year and not doing like anything to where like I'm proving to people that it's my birthday. Like I don't even know if I'll do a birthday vlog. I'll probably do like a birthday like montage or collage of videos, but I really just want to not only spend my birthday alone, I want to really enjoy my birthday. I've had enjoyable birthdays, but I haven't really had a solid birthday where I was genuinely happy since I was like 2. And I remember my second birthday party because when I was 2, my mom got me a Dora the Explorer cake, and we had my birthday party at my grandmother's boyfriend's house at the time, and everybody was just so excited that it was my birthday. I was being showered in affection, and it was just all around a good time. Like that was like one of my best childhood memories. I haven't really had a birthday like that since, and I've really been expecting the people that I love that are around me today to really amount to that moment every year, and they really can't, you know what I mean? And I understand because like they're not like my family members or whatever. Even my family members, like it's not the same anymore. Like I'm not a baby. Like nobody's going to be as excited for my 21st birthday as they were when I was 2 years old, because I was a baby, I was new, and they were excited for me to still be alive. Honestly, I feel. But dang, I forgot to put the show. It's okay, whatever. But yeah, and that's something that I have been having unrealistic expectations of other people, especially people that I love and that really love me and that really care about me and really want me to have a good time. I've been having this unrealistic expectation of them to amount to that moment every year, and it just hasn't been happening. And it's not because the people around me don't love me or they don't care about me enough to try to replicate it. I've had people try to replicate it, and it hasn't, you know? It has not worked. Did I put 5? I put 5. Every year I say the same thing, and it's just that I would have rather be alone on my birthday and really just spend time with myself. So that's what I'm gonna try to do this year. Spoiler alert, I am turning 21. But I'm also going to try to do a solo trip to Seattle, Washington. Seattle, Washington is actually where I want to end up teaching ultimately after I finish my master's program. And, ooh, sorry, this is a little crooked. Let me fix it. After I finish my master's program at FSU and I teach in Florida for 3 years to get some experience, I really want to teach in Seattle, Washington because, one, they pay their teachers the most. I know they have a high cost of living, but from what I've calculated with what their teachers make and the cost of living, I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna be straight. And I also love how scenic it is. I haven't been there to see it personally yet, but I have been watching a lot of vlogs and doing my research about where I want to live. I have been like really dead set on Seattle. So that's where I'm going to go for my birthday, just to see if it really amounts to what I've been seeing in vlogs, and just to see if I actually could see myself actually living there. So really excited for that. I'm excited for the holidays. Like I said, I'm moving into a new apartment with more of my friends and people that I actually know, people that are actually clean. I'm just really excited to always be surrounded by people that I care about and that I know care about me, and that I know that I can talk to about anything that I feel might be going wrong in the household, and they'll actually listen to me and actually try to come to a consensus on what we can do about making it more comfortable for the both of us. And that's just going to be a weight lifted off of my shoulder regarding like my living situation, because I'll feel safe and I'll feel free to just like be myself and like move around freely. Like I don't want to feel like a prisoner in my own house, and that's exactly how I've been feeling in this apartment. But like I said, I still appreciate the time that I got to spend here to really get my life figured out. And this apartment and its placement and everything that led up to me getting it, and even all the stuff that I went through having it, it was all a part of the bigger plan. And I'm just so excited to see what the future has in store. So that has been this video. I will probably put like the finished look in here, but this is the dress. This is the dress. Back, I'll give you guys a little. I don't know if you guys can see it, But you know, just to get the idea of what I have going on, I'm gonna put my earrings on, give you guys the finished look.